The flags are out, the scores are coming in, and the season is officially on. This is This Week in Women's College Flag Football. I'm Coach Sean Fenewald. Let's hit the field.
Welcome back to This Week in Women's College Flag Football. I'm your host, Coach Sean Fenewald. This week we saw more growth around the country. We saw inaugural club matchups, Florida powerhouses and upstarts battling it out in multiple overtimes. We saw new teams emerge with new players on the landscape. So we've got a huge slate of games this week. Let's dive right into the action, starting down in the Southeast with what became the eye-opener of the week.
As we put together our new top 25 this week, there is a new number one team in the nation, and it's the Florida Gateway Timberwolves. Sitting at 4-0, they've proven they can win against top-tier four-year programs, recently taking down arguably the best team in the country in Ottawa and a solid Lise McRae. Florida Gateway sent in this week's video from the Ottawa game and the game against Sun Conference member Reinhardt. Shout out to Jackson's Visuals for the great highlight edit. Speaking of the Lise McRae Bobcats, the new programs are making serious waves in Conference Carolinas. Lise McRae submitted some photos this week, and Coach Mike Brown gave us an update on their 2-0 start to conference play following that Florida Gateway game. He said that they found their footing this week, starting conference play after their Florida road trip. Their goal is to grow and bounce back after some close losses versus great competition, and they did that going 2-0. He said big performances and emergence of players contributing were all around. He said that Hicks continues to carve up defenses regardless of looks, moving the ball at will and commanding the offense well, saying that all four main receivers are involved, making it difficult to key in on a player. They said that their best attribute offensively is balance and being able to attack vertically while also attacking defensive deficiencies. They still have some work to do in the red zone with unlucky breaks, play calling, and miscommunication that has slowed down their full potential early. Ava Rivera has been a bright spot since growing into her role as the double QB, but also as a potent weapon in the passing game. He also says here that as far as the defense is concerned, that they're solid and disciplined. Linebacker Kennedy Van Noy, Mackenzie Walker have been on tears this year, making it extremely difficult to complete a ball in the low and intermediate passing game, saying that they've combined for 13 interceptions and 4 pick sixes between them in 8 games. So he says that Jaden Jalbert is entering into no-fly zone territory, that she had 2 big interceptions in the Emmanuel game, one at the end of half of the end zone in the red zone to keep the game out of reach for Emmanuel. So again, a strong start for Lise McRae, a team that's not shied away from taking on some good competition early this season. Also in the region, Ferrum sent us over some photos and a game recap from Coach Roth. In Game 1 versus Lindsey Wilson, Ferrum won 39-19. Payson Shreve earned Offensive Player of the Game, going 22 of 37 with 401 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Sam Pitzer scored the first official touchdown in program history to go along with 3 pulls and 2 pass breakups. The Offensive Player of the Game was Payson Shreve. The Defensive Player of the Game was Malaya Latima Tonga with 6 pulls and 1 pass breakup. In the second game versus Hollins, the final score was 53-0. The Offensive Player of the Game was Skylar Keefe. Skylar had 4 receptions for 45 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Defensive Player of the Game was Denny Lynn Bonilla, who had a pick 6. Coach Roth says that he's super proud of the way the girls played this weekend. Their goals this season extend far beyond this, but what a way to get things rolling. The offense was a force all day, and Coach Mario Ruiz and our defense played one of the best halves of football he's ever seen against Lindsey Wilson.
Meanwhile, the Mars Hill Lions kept it brief but determined in a statement with us, saying that they had a tough weekend, but they're improving and going to keep working hard moving forward.
Staying in the South, our number 19 point Skyhawks had a great week. The team sent in this recap of their game against LaGrange. Behind yet another spectacular passing performance from quarterback Kariah Williams and a locked in defense, the Point University Skyhawks flag team rolled to a 31-0 shutout of LaGrange Saturday afternoon at River Bowl Stadium. The Skyhawks effectively put the game out of reach by halftime, building a 25-0 lead on the strength of 4 first-half touchdown passes from William. Point scored 13 points in the first quarter and 12 more in the second, then capped the day with a 4-quarter touchdown to finish the 31-0 victory. Williams finished 36 of 46 passing for 344 yards and 5 touchdowns, directing a Skyhawk offense that leaned almost exclusively on the air attack. Point ran just 2 times, but still totaled 337 yards on 49 plays, averaging 6.9 yards per snap. Williams connected with 4 different receivers in the end zone, including Shanera Shahid, Amara Davila, Kara Thomas, and Kenzie Filian. Leah Prather provided the Skyhawks' only interception of the evening and produced 8 stops defensively. Shahid matched her with that same amount, while Alasia Nathan earned both sacks for Point in the game. The win represents 3 straight wins for Point. After a season-opening tough loss to Daytona State, the Skyhawks have responded with 66-0, 49-27, and 31-0 final scores. Also coming in here late tonight, we see that they've taken a tough loss to Florida Gateway, our overall number 1 team, so no shame in that. Also staying in the Southeast, our number 5 Milligan secured a 28-6 win over Campbellsville, our number 18 team, while also securing a 39-19 win over Huntington, a team that's looking really great this season. Head coach Ryan Witten texted in to say that it was a great opening weekend against some really tough opponents, that it was an awesome atmosphere, that he's so proud of their team's performance and positive energy. Indeed, it's been a great start so far for Milligan.
The Campbellsville Tigers have a mindset of finishing. The team wrote in to tell us that they control their own destiny, that they have to finish games and finish drives offensively in the end zone. Their defense played a strong game, holding a high-powered explosive offense to 21 points. Unfortunately, they did give up a last-second touchdown there toward the end of the game. So they didn't get the number 6 team this weekend, but then they get a chance at the number 2, 3, 7, and number 9 team this upcoming week. So it's going to be back to the drawing board and definitely a chance for Campbellsville to pick up some more meaningful wins.
We also heard from our number 8 Florida Gators. Cruising to a perfect start, the Gators have absolutely dominated in-state competition, posting 4 shutouts and a massive plus 146 point differential. Friend of the site, Coach Saunders, jokes with us regarding a potential Florida bias that it's not a bias if it's true. Florida State, who is one of the teams that's on the radar in our top 25 at 4-1, checked in with us saying that they had some pictures from their tournament in Athens that they could send over. Florida State's boasting a seriously impressive resume for the club teams. They dominated Clemson 27-7. The Clemson Tigers sent this photo over saying that they have beaten Snead State 15-12 and Columbus State 26-0. They also noted that they're hosting their first tournament on April 18th. The Duke Lady Devils shared some photos with us and said that they had some action shots of the Lady Devils against the University of Virginia. Rain or shine, these girls show out. Special thanks they wanted to send to the University of Virginia women's flag team for hosting them. Moving up the coast to the Northeast, the ECAC is delivering top-tier competition. Penn State Schuylkill hosts an incredible slate, and their coach sent media along with this detailed recap. On Saturday, they hosted 3 outstanding ECAC women's flag football programs at Penn State Schuylkill, those being Keene, Mercy, and Mount St. Mary's, representing the ECAC with excellent players and first-class coaches, stating that they finished the day 1-2 now standing at 2-2 in ECAC play, saying that despite the record, it was one of the most rewarding days they've experienced watching players compete with heart, focus, and confidence. Said that against Keene, they came within 4 yards and a 2-point conversion of forcing overtime against a team that they struggled with last year. In Game 2, they defeated Mercy 28-6 behind a dominant defensive effort. And in Game 3, it was Mount St. Mary's, the toughest opponent Schuylkill said they faced in program history, a team that had won their previous games by a combined 80-0. Trailing 12-0 at halftime, they responded with toughness. Late in the fourth, trying to take the lead when a miscommunication resulted in an interception. Avery Brown, the freshman quarterback, threw for 571 yards, completing 60% of her passes with 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Coach says he's thankful and blessed to serve as the head coach and doesn't take responsibility for granted. Said that he thanks God for trusting him with the chance to lead these young women and be a part of something bigger than himself. He quotes 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Some meaningful words there on the nature of coaching from Coach Valentine. Further north in New England, history was made as the Baldwin Polar Bears and Vermont Catamounts faced off. Baldwin's team said it was that they loved introducing flag football through their inaugural game with UVM. It was an incredible day, especially as a women-led initiative. Vermont sent the video in, adding that they're excited to share some highlights from their first ever game. We received some photos in from the University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh. It was a valiant effort against the Aurora Spartans, where they ultimately came up short 41-0 in their inaugural game. Congratulations, though, again to UW Oshkosh on your first game. As we turn our attention out west, the Great Southwest Athletic Conference and West Coast programs have really been putting on a show. We start with the Benedictine Mesa Redhawks, who've sent in this photo with an update. This week, our Redhawks played 2 non-conference games and took on U of A with an amazing turnaround of 306 receiving yards. The Redhawks then took the win 41-6. Continuing the week, the Redhawks took on the number 4 Baker University and unfortunately fell 46-0 in the loss, but the Redhawks are moving forward and excited for their conference games this coming week with Ottawa, Arizona, and ACU. So thanks again, Benedictine, for sending that in to us. Speaking of Arizona Christian, Coach Mack sent over these videos saying he's beyond proud of this team. The effort that they showed at the night that they played Baker really showed that they're moving in the right direction. He said for them to bring in such a prestigious opponent on their historic home opener shows the confidence and commitment he has in the team, saying that God has blessed his team and they will continue to work hard for his glory. Thanks, ACU. Over at Hope International, our number 22 ranked team, the Royals sent over this photo. This past week, Hope International went out to Florida and defeated St. Thomas in 6 overtimes. This was a landmark win for their program in defeating an NAIA power. Receivers coach Ryan McFadden added, picking up games this upcoming Friday. No real recaps outside from their Florida trip. After learning in games against Warner and Weber, Hope International bounced back, showing what they had for St. Thomas, going up to 2-2 on the season heading into their conference. The La Sierra Golden Eagles sent us in some amazing shots. From them, we hear that they had a great time. Didn't play like they can, but still had a great time. That it's a young team with first games on the road. They learned a lot from it and have a better understanding of what it takes to play back-to-back. Good for them experiencing to go for them. But what I really want you to see is what's coming up next. This catch that you're about to see that was sent in with the highlights may be the highlight of the year for this season. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on this, as I'm going to go ahead and play the full audio here at the end. How about that for a one-handed grab?
The Redlands Bulldogs had a roller coaster weekend at their Invitational. The University of Redlands went 2-1 on the weekend, beating Cal Lutheran 20-0. And following that morning, there was a really hot day in the sun against GCU, and it was a nail biter. So down 14-6 with 120 left, Redlands middle linebacker Callie Dixon was able to force the safety, allowing the offense to get the ball down to the GCU 4-yard line with 3 seconds left, but sophomore Avery Stunts couldn't rein it in. Saturday, Redlands versus UCLA. Redlands capitalized early and went on to win 19-12 with 2 passing touchdowns by Cheyenne Smith and a rushing touchdown by senior Fabiola Rivera. Coach Tatum Springer added that he's proud of their team's effort and their ability to play through injuries, that he loved the grit and determination that they played with.
In the junior college ranks out west, the number 10 ranked Saddleback Bobcats, who actually show up number 1 in our composite ratings, provided these pictures and this breakdown. Saddleback played through some minor injuries this weekend after winning 4 games the previous Friday at the Bobcat Bowl Invitational. The Bobcats were short-handed, but managed to shut out both El Camino College 20-0 and Pomona Pitzer 48-0 to improve to 9-0. The quarterback combination of Kira Clavijo and Brooklyn Harris finished 49 of 73 for 67% and 442 yards and 7 touchdown passes for the week. Clavijo, number 1, Harris, number 4, both can spin it. Also saw the emergence of first-year wide receiver Talita Robinson, who got more playing time due to injuries. Robinson had 14 receptions for 102 yards and 3 scores in 2 games this week. Keeping it in the CCCAA, the SBCC Vaqueros also sent us a great video here. We just wanted to make sure to include it. Obviously, you can see that this is a very physical team that to go up against here. So thanks for sending this in, SBCC. Also, keeping it out west, we head up into the mountains. We got some feedback in from the Montana Grizzlies in their first year, saying that they just played a scrimmage today, sending us a photo of all the ladies that showed up to play in their game against the All-Star West team. So congratulations, Montana. As we wrap things up, we go back over some media submissions that we missed that wouldn't have made the show otherwise. We got some great video and photos in from Mercy that we mentioned earlier. The Mavericks sent us in some highlights of their own from their game and some shots celebrating the ECAC Media Day that they had with the Jets. Congratulations, Mavericks. Our friends from Hollins University sent these photos in. We wish them the best in their first season, and thanks for sending them in. Our friends at Cotty College sent us in this photo from their win over Prairie View A&M. The Comets have gotten off to a 3-1 start this season and look very promising. Speaking of Cotty's fast start, Pratt Community College sends us in this picture along with the score from where they defeated the Comets 40-27. That, again, is Cotty's only loss on the season so far. The Grand Canyon Lopes send over this picture from the last week, also with some video highlights of this great defensive stand, and then we'll let you hear the audio as they score a touchdown here with the other video that they sent over. Stay. We're good. And if you're a fan of long bomb touchdowns, check out the one the UCLA Bruins sent us from over the last week. This one takes us the whole length of the field. Perhaps the first ever cartwheel scored for a touchdown. The Emmanuel Lions split their recent flag football matchups, bouncing back from a tough 21-12 loss against Lise McRae College with a dominant 57-0 shutout victory over King. The air raid offense was on full display with quarterback Lillian Stevenson. She was stellar, throwing for a combined 649 yards and 11 touchdowns, highlighted by a massive 422-yard, 9-score performance against King. Gianna Brown shined on both sides of the ball across 2 games, racking up 21 receptions for 242 yards and 4 touchdowns while adding 12 tackles defensively. Led by Kaylin Robinson's 8 tackles and 3 tackles for loss, the Lions defense completely smothered King in their win. Up next, they travel to face Milligan in a featured game March 7th.
Now I'm just going to do a quick recap of some teams that we didn't mention that we did mention in our top 25 and teams that we consider to be on the radar, getting close to our top 25. We didn't talk a lot about Warner. They're 3-0. They look great, virtually unstoppable. A great argument to consider them the best team in the country. Same with Baker, looked great out west. They're at 4-0. Kansas Wesleyan, again, high-performing offense. Quarterback Iwata is, again, putting up big numbers. Daytona State, looking great in our composite rankings. They have a flawless 4-0 start to start. Weber International, another great team right now. The Sun Conference is very deep. Quarterback there, Herrera is great. She's had 6 touchdowns in their opening win over Hope International. Then there's the Irvine Valley Lasers, another great team that's making some serious noise. They just took down a tough Grand Canyon team. Nevada State, the Scorpions are looking great out west right now. Mount St. Mary's is 3-0, looking great in their historic debut. Siena Heights obviously had a great win over St. Francis, Indiana in double overtime. The Barton Bulldogs also had the highest point spread in a game with 120 points in their game so far. Felt bad about dropping the Ottawa Braves down to 16, but other teams have, I think, the potential to finish undefeated this season. Again, though, they had that huge win over Kaiser, only to drop narrowly, to win narrowly, only then to lose to Florida Gateway. Ava Wallace having a great year so far for Kaiser, already with 503 yards and 11 touchdowns in their first 2 wins. Georgia, the Bulldogs are looking great as well. They're 5-1. They've got split over Florida State. That's pretty impressive. The Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders have made waves early by winning 2 of their games with a large score. No shame in losing to Ferrum. That's a good team. St. Thomas, they edged out Life 7-6, but also took a wild 6 overtime loss to Hope International. So that's a good team too. And then Life, they got their big win over Thomas, showing incredible grit after 6 overtimes. And then the Thomas Nighthawks, they're at 4-1. Again, they've had a gritty win over Reinhardt, overtime win over Reinhardt, and then lost a tight double overtime game to Life. And I think those are pretty unexpected scores. And then we have our teams that are currently on our radar. So Alabama State's looked great early on. They got the 39-18 win over Kennesaw and then shut out Delaware State. Their only loss being a defensive 2-0 loss to Texas Southern. Texas Southern's 4-1, a gritty team that grinds out wins, highlighted by a 2-0 win over Alabama State that we had just mentioned. So the Cypress Chargers, they're 6-2, dropped a heartbreaker to Saddleback, but they remain one of the most active and battle-tested JUCO teams on the West Coast. The Ventura Pirates, navigating again a brutal California schedule with a solid 5-2 mark. Both of their losses came against elite teams, Saddleback and Cypress there. Shriner, the Mountaineers, have only gotten 1 game in, but it was an impressive victory over Texas Southern, who looked good so far this year. The Aurora Spartans, with Coach Barlow, they started the season perfectly with a great win over UW Oshkosh that we mentioned earlier. And we still like the Winston-Salem State Rams in the CIAA, but that win, that 37-6 win over Virginia Wesleyan to start the season just isn't carrying as much weight as it was at one point.
That finally does it for this week's comprehensive recap. The passion, the stats, and the sheer grit shown across every division prove that women's college flag football is taking over. To close this week out, fan of the site Nikki Hogan sent in this great fan footage of the game between Keene and Penn State Schuylkill. We love fan collaborations, tags, and submissions, so keep those coming. For now, keep pulling tags, keep sending us your media, and we'll see you next week for This Week in Women's College Flag Football.